Quazi here. Have you ever noticed how successful people hold certain hand gestures, as though they're part of some secret cult or they know something about the secrets of the universe? See, for thousands of years, yogis, sages, and healers have believed that our hands can channel unique energies, influence mental states, and even heal our bodies. Now, what's fascinating is that these hand gestures, known as mudras, aren't just symbolic gestures. They're practices rooted in ancient texts with origins dating back thousands of years, shaping both spiritual and physical well-being. The concept of mudras first appears in texts like the Upanishads, compiled as early as 800 BCE, and the Hatha Yoga Pradipika from the 15th century. Now, in these writings, yogis detailed how specific hand positions could stimulate particular energy channels known as nadis and influence our mental, emotional, and physical states. Even today, modern science shows that certain hand positions can impact neural pathways, showing us the power of these ancient practices in a new light. Let's start with the Gyan Mudra, or the seal of knowledge, which dates back to early yogic practices described in texts like the Garanda Samhita from the 17th century. To form Gyan Mudra, you touch your thumb and index finger together, with the other fingers extended. Ancient yogis believed this gesture could stimulate sattva, the principle of wisdom and clarity, awakening one's higher mind. Modern neuroscience actually backs this up, showing that this gesture may increase blood flow to certain areas of the brain involved in memory and learning, which may help with focus and cognitive clarity. Now, another intriguing example is Prana Mudra, or the seal of life, a gesture believed to awaken dormant energy within the body. Mentioned in texts like the Tantra Shastra and the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, this mudra involves connecting the thumb to the ring and little fingers. According to ancient texts, Prana Mudra helps activate the body's vital life force, or prana, increasing energy and vitality. Yogis recommended it for times of low energy or when recovering from illnesses. Research today shows that intentional hand gestures like these can help reduce stress and fatigue, lending support to the idea that Prana Mudra can act as an energy booster. And then there's Anjali Mudra, or the gesture of offering. Often seen as a gesture of respect or greeting, Anjali Mudra is one of the oldest mudras referenced in the Rig Veda, around 1500 BCE, one of the oldest known texts in India. This mudra, where the palms are pressed together at the heart, is believed to balance both sides of the body, calming the mind and connecting one to a state of inner peace and gratitude. Scientific studies suggest that when we place our hands together this way, it may help calm the nervous system, reducing stress responses and enhancing emotional balance, validating what ancient sages believed about its power to bring us back to our center. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use these ancient mudras to channel energy and intention through your hands, transforming them into tools for focus, vitality, and inner peace. We're going to explore the wisdom from ancient texts backed by scientific principles and see how these gestures are still relevant and powerful in our lives today. By the end of this video, I'm going to share an exercise with you that I perform at various key times during the day to unlock my energy system and channel my intention energy to manifest the outcomes that I want. Let's get started. So the three main ingredients that we need to make sure of before we begin using mudras is understanding the trifecta in the mental plane, the physical plane, and the spiritual plane. This dates back to ancient Hermetic traditions, the oldest book that describes the three main planes of existence. And Hermes, his last name was Trismegistus, the god of all gods. And Trismegistus stands for thrice greatest. They literally believed that he had mastered all these three planes of existence and had godlike abilities to be able to teleport, to shrink himself down, make himself really large, and just he had supernatural abilities. So we need to have alignment in these three planes of existence mental, physical, and spiritual. And that's why the number 3 is so important, and you see it everywhere. You see the trifecta, the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. You see the 33rd degree stuff. You see the 33 vertebrae. So this number 3 is very, very significant, and I'm sure you can think of tons of other examples of how 3 shows up and the importance of this Trinity. So, in understanding that we need alignment in mental, physical, and spiritual, this simply means mind, body, and spirit. That's it. Whatever we think, actions we take, and with our whole spirit, the spirit that is beyond the mental and the physical plane, we almost feel aligned to the thing that we want. And this brings me to having a congruence in your intention. So the next part to this is intention. Understanding how to become very, very congruent in whatever you intend. For most people, they're not very, very congruent in their intentions. They say one thing, they do something else, and they think something else. Thoughts, words, and actions are not congruent. When you achieve alignment in your intention, your thoughts, words, and actions are very, very sharp, very pointed. They are all serving one purpose, to move you towards your goals. So I would like for you to think about the concentration of the sun's rays to a very tiny, minuscule point. Have you ever watched movies before where they use a tiny mirror and they concentrate it to a blade of grass, the sun's rays, and that blade of grass catches fire? All you needed was the sun's rays and to concentrate it to a very tiny point. The sun's rays itself, just naturally existing as it is too spread out. It's not directed. And because of that, our whole world doesn't catch fire when the sun shines on it. So when you concentrate your intention onto one singular point by aligning your thoughts, words, and actions, it leads you to faster accomplishment of your goals. Okay? So to give you an example of this, one of our clients, Vishaka, recently did this, whereby she was able to quit her corporate job that she hated, become a freelancer, and actually a top freelancer, and she completely replaced her income, and now she does what she loves and works with clients that she genuinely wants to work with. And I don't know about you, but that's a huge feat to be able to get out of the 9-to-5 rat race and to be able to completely replace that with my own career. And I remember the first time I did this back in 2019, I quit my job and went all into my business. There was a lot of uncertainty and I didn't know where income was going to come from. But when I was able to persist in my intention that nope, this is what I want. All the doubts, brushing them to the side and focusing on what is wanted in my thoughts, speaking as though I am a successful business owner and acting as though I am a successful business owner. Thoughts, words, and actions. That's what I want you to remember for now. So before we get to the next part where I'm going to share with you the 3 ways you can use mudras, just remember when we are using these mudras, our thoughts, words, and actions, we are aligned in mind, body, and spirit. Okay? So thoughts, words, and actions. Cool. So now let's begin with the first way in which I have been using mudras that have completely transformed my life. And this is to do with learning new things. So what do I mean by that? So if you notice when people go to school or they learn something new, a lot of the times they have their arms crossed, they have their legs crossed, they're kind of sitting in a closed off position. What I learned from my mentor was that when we're in a closed off position, we're actually not receiving anything. So anytime you want to learn something and absorb information to get a transformation, you have to open yourself up. And to do that, in order to do that, one of the main ways to do it is you sit with your legs in a siddhasana position. It is this a very ancient yogic posture, an asana, whereby you cross your legs in a certain way. You don't have to do the lotus position, but you sit comfortably, and on your lap, you place your hands palm facing up. This is very crucial. When your palms are facing up, if you look at the Islamic tradition, there's a part of the prayer when you ask God for blessings, or you ask God, or you pray to God, your hands are actually like this, right? You're open to receiving the blessings of God. So when you pray, this is actually a very effective way to pray. This too, the Anjali Mudra, is also a very effective way to pray. But I have found personally that when my palms are facing up, I learn better and absorb information better. And when you're sitting in front of a desk, you're sitting on a chair, you can just have your palms facing up, but just become mindful of your body language. Because if your body language is closed off, you will never fully absorb information. And especially when you're talking to people and you're interacting, you'll find that some people are there with their arms closed like this. That's also a closed off position. A better way for you to stand would be like this, with your body open. You're open, you're receiving, you're communicating, you're becoming one with the person in front of you. So this is one of the most effective ways in which I have found to learn and absorb new things. And that's how I use this mudra of having your palms facing up. The next mudra is going to be pertaining to eating and drinking. And this is very, very crucial. A lot of the times you'll find that you've eaten something good, but you just don't feel good, even though the quality of food was good. It's not always to do with the quality of food. It's your intention behind the consumption before you consume the food. Remember, we talked about intention, the one-pointedness in your intention. So what I've learned, and I learned this from Sadhguru, is before you eat, you place your hands together in the Anjali Mudra, the oldest mudra known to man. So the Anjali Mudra is basically you bringing your hands together. This is a sign of unity. When I do this, just if you do this with me right now, if you place your hands together with me right now, just imagine the sense, like, how peaceful do you feel like this? How one with life do you feel? How safe and secure do you feel as opposed to not doing it? When I do this, I feel like God is taking care of me, right? I feel like I'm one with all life around me. So when I am in front of food or drink, water, I like to bring my hands together for a brief moment and make the intention that this food is now going to become one with me. I'm going to become one with this food. Because just imagine how complex this mechanism is, that we eat a banana, the banana becomes us. We eat meat or food, whatever it is, it becomes part of us. We become one with it. It literally meshes with our DNA, right? We absorb nutrients from it and it becomes one with us. So before we consume food and drink, if we put our hands together and we make an intention that I intend for this to become fully one with me, and I intend to become fully one with this, then we give that intention place to fully flower. Our thoughts, words, and actions have now become one. What most people do is when they come across food, they just quickly jump to eat it, or they rush to eat it, or they're watching something, they're distracting themselves. What I've found to be even more powerful, and when I've started to feel the best and I got over my binge eating habits, was when I consciously ate food. Instead of distracting myself and doing something else, I have a tendency to watch TV while I eat. Instead of doing that, instead of being in a rush to eat, I take my time to eat and I become one with the food. And once I'm done, I carry on with my life. What I used to notice in the past was when I was rushing to eat, I would just feel indigestion. I would feel uncomfortable afterwards. I would feel this sense of bloat afterwards. And now when I become one with the food and I consciously eat it, I feel more energized by the food and I feel a lot better. I feel like my brain and my whole body, this whole being functions better. So if you just start doing this, bring your hands together in the Anjali Mudra, you're going to notice a big change happening in your life in a very short period of time. So the key part to this is the Anjali Mudra and making the intention mentally that you intend for this food to become one with you before every meal. Okay? So this was one of the biggest things I have implemented in my life that's completely changed my life. The third and final step, the way I do this, is during visualization. So I use visualization as a manifesting tool. It's been one of the most powerful methods of manifesting that's completely changed everything for me. That's, I believe, has attracted everything into my life that I've ever wanted and more. And the reason why that is because visualization it involves the sense organ of seeing, and sight most of the time consists of 80% of someone's sense perception. There's the five senses, and the sight, the seeing, literally is believing. But when you combine visualization with actually feeling, your nervous system, science shows your nervous system can't really tell the difference between what's imagined and what's actually real. And because of that, visualization becomes a very effective tool. Now, this isn't the only tool for manifestation. For a lot of people who have aphantasia, or a lot of people who believe they have aphantasia, they can use other tools like affirmations, soundbite, feeling, more touching, sensory stuff to have the feeling of their ideal reality manifest. But for me, visualization has been the most effective. But there's a particular mudra that I use when I'm visualizing. And just like we had the palms up to receive, we have the palms down on the lap to visualize. When you have the palms down and you visualize, your visualizations go deeper, and you'll find that you can access more of a deeper dimension within you. Because what you're essentially doing with the palms down is closing off the external world and going deeper into the internal world. So for me, I like to visualize for 10 to 30 seconds tops. Every single day I have a special protocol for it, which I'm going to share with you. I put my hands down on my lap, palms facing down, and it allows me to visualize even more vividly, but also feel my visualizations even deeper. And the more creative, the key to visualization is, the more creative you can become, the more creative energy you can utilize, the higher the likelihood that your ideal reality manifests. And the reason behind that is the process of manifestation is a creation process. We're creating something when it's not present in material reality right now. We're switching lifelines and moving to a different track. Okay? In order to do that, we need to use the power of imagination, the power of creative energy. And that's why Neville Goddard, emphasized creative visualization or just imagination so much, and the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Why that was emphasized so much. There's a reason for that. And that is, I believe, due to the power of creativity and the power of imagination. So, palms down visualization has been the most effective for me. If you would like to know how I visualize and the full complete protocol, I have made a 30-minute video with a comprehensive guide at the beginning of this year. It's gotten over 800,000 views. It's literally the visualization protocol that I've been using for the last 7-8 years. That's taken me from almost going to a soul-sucking corporate job to quitting it, starting my own business, meeting the love of my life, marrying her, having a baby now, and having a multi-million-dollar business, and I only get to work 4 hours a week in it. So if you'd like to know how to do that, all you need to do is click right here, somewhere over here, and it will take you to that full video. So just click right here, and I'll see you in this next video right now.